All right, excuse the sweatshirt, seeing it drenched if you are seeing that here. Sorry, just got home and I was drenched all day. Anyway, Ken Rosenthal this morning, he put out his report in The Athletic, tidbits around the league, information that he has gathered, and he had some information on the Padres. And he said that the Soto Grisham trade to the Yankees left the Padres with only two outfielders on their 40-man roster. That's right, Azokar and Fernando Tatis Jr. Azokar's 633 OPS in 318 major league plate appearances. Ken says here the signing of a free agent such as Michael A. Taylor is still possible. So is a trade with the team deep in outfielders like the Brewers. But neither option seems particularly likely, making it quite possible the Padres will spend the spring auditioning young players such as Jackson Merrill, Jacob Marcy, and Graham Pauley. Michael A. Taylor. I don't really see the Padres signing Michael A. Taylor. It's a righty bat, and he's trying to probably get what Harrison Bader and Kevin Kiermaier got. So if one team bites at that, I don't think that's going to be the Padres when they didn't want to give Kevin Kiermaier $10+ million. They didn't want to give Harrison Bader $10+ million. So I don't see that happening unless the price tag goes down for Michael A. Taylor. We don't know the specific price tag on Michael A. Taylor, but I assume it's where Bader and Kiermaier were at there. So we'll see what happens there. A trade, yes, that's possible, but it's kind of hard to be talking about trades because you don't really know the exact people that would be involved and what that team likes in your farm system. But Merrill, Marcy, Pauley, those are three names. And Rosenthal says Merrill, one of those names, the game's number 12 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, will play both shortstop and outfield in spring training. Marcy, MVP of the Arizona Fall League last season, became the first minor leaguer to produce a season of 15 homers, 90 walks, 40 stolen bases since at least 2005. Pauley, like Merrill, was drafted as an infielder but played outfield in the Fall League and in the minors the past two seasons. Had Graham Pauley on the show as well, so you can check that interview out whenever that interview happens. Sorry, today my brain's all over the place, so I don't know. I forget exactly when. It was last year, sometime last year, I think, after the minor league season ended last year was when that happened. So you can go check that back out if you did not watch that interview. But yeah, so Merrill, Marcy, and Pauley, those are three talented names. I think that those three will end up being big leaguers one day. Merrill, maybe on opening day. Marcy, maybe on opening day. Pauley, I'm not so sure about, but I guess maybe him on opening day if he's going to play a corner. And they want to, let's say they have Marcy come up, Pauley come up to play a corner, and they don't want to have Merrill play the outfield. So they have him stay in AAA or AA, get reps. Or maybe it's Merrill that is up and one of the other two needs more reps. And they decide that way because if these three guys come, I want these guys playing. I don't want them to come up to just be sitting there on the bench in case someone goes down or someone can't play, in case Jose Azocar can't play. Like, I know Azocar's done everything that the organization has asked of him, and I give props to him for that, but I want Marcy playing over Azocar if Marcy is ready, if that makes sense, right? I want Merrill playing over Azocar. I want, like, these are their top guys. I want to see what they're going to give you. I think we know what Azocar is going to give. I want to see what these guys can give at the big league level. So is it the right thing to do? If they're being rushed, no, it's not the right thing to do. And even if they're not being rushed, this team still needs more depth. Let's say they put Jackson Merrill in left, Jacob Marcy in center, Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field. Okay, well, what happens if Merrill or Marcy or both have a hard time hitting at the big league level in their first taste of the big leagues? Then what happens? Then where's the depth there? So Azocar is going to play center? Okay. But then, so is it Profar that you're going to be putting in left field if Merrill can't hit? And then maybe Merrill's confidence goes down because he can't hit at the big league level to start, or Marcy has trouble hitting at the big league level to start. Like, I want these guys up when they're ready, and then I want them to play when they're ready. So, how this offseason, how do I see it playing out? I mean, I see Profar coming back, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if he is starting in the outfield and left field, just based on how things are going. I mean, I'm hoping the Padres sign David Peralta or Eddie Rosario or Tommy Pham, but what's their price tag at? If their price tag was good, you think the Padres would sign him, right? I think Eric Grutner was on Ben and Woods today talking about how, yeah, they'll be more aggressive when the big guys sign in free agency. Well, I think that's what a lot of teams are waiting for, are those guys to sign, and then they'll go get the other guys. So the Padres are in that same boat with a lot of other teams, in my opinion. So yeah, they're gonna fill out the roster, but what is that price tag gonna look like on these outfielders, on the Eddie Rosarios, on the Tommy Phams, those type of guys, the David Peraltas? What is that gonna look like? I think Kevin Pillar was snatched up by a team recently. So the options keep going down. And so as the days go on, I feel like it's more and more likely that one of these guys, Merrill, Marcy, Paulie, two of these guys, I don't know about all three, but someone's going to debut. It feels like and make the opening day roster when we keep seeing, okay, yep, another day, February 5th, check that day off the calendar now. February 4th, check it off, right? We still have two guys on the 40 man. And Terso and Ellis is out there. There's Cal Mitchell invited to big league camp. There's other guys that have been invited, but that's not gonna. Those guys are like, oh no, what if injuries happen and maybe they could be the last guy on the bench? That's not guys that you want starting, right? So it's the right move to have Merrill go play outfield a little bit in spring training. Yeah, it's the right move, of course. Increase the versatility and get more comfortable playing the outfield because right now it's a tricky situation in the infield, obviously. And if he is ready to come up, then yeah, he can come up. But I want him playing every day. Same thing with Paulie, same thing with Marcy. And the position switch thing, he can come back and play the infield. It was like Tatis. He can come back and play the infield. He only was playing it his whole life. So I don't view the position adjustment that big of a deal. Oh, well, what if they move him to the outfield, but then they have to bring him back to the infield? That's not a big deal. For me, it's more like the transition to playing the outfield and get him comfortable there in spring training. If the Padres are going to have him be on the big league roster as an outfielder and, start games in the outfield, then yeah, play the outfield every day in spring training. Don't go back and forth. You can go play shortstop if you need to go play shortstop. So yeah, if Merrill is really a possibility, then commit. Paulie, really a possibility, then I want this Padres team to commit to those guys playing the outfield and getting a lot of reps. Maybe not in, all these Cactus League games, but backfield, get a lot of reps in the outfield because I want them to be ready. And again, I want them to play. I don't want them sitting there on the bench and, wasting their service, starting their service time clocks. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, Ken, also another note, which it's pretty much the same thing with Ha-Sung Kim. They continue to draw significant trade interest in second baseman Ha-Sung Kim, according to sources briefed on the discussions. Kim is eligible for free agency at the end of the season, but he was among the Padres' best players in 2023, so the acquisition cost would be high, as it should be. He was one of the Padres' best players. That's a guy that you could put at the top of the order. You could put him pretty much everywhere. He plays a lot of different positions. We'll see about Manny's health. We'll see about the positions in this infield because Mike Schilt told Kevin Acee the other day, yeah, Xander's the shortstop right now. Interesting. So we'll see. Give your thoughts on just what is happening here. Lack of moves from the Padres, lack of moves really just around baseball. We keep saying it feels like every week at the start of every week, yeah, a bunch of these moves are going to happen this week, right? And then they don't happen. So you'd think that this is the week right before pitchers and catchers report for the Padres on the 11th. But we know that this roster, at least I do, I'm going into this week, already in this week, obviously, thinking the roster is not going to be complete when pitchers and catchers report. It's not going to be complete when the whole team reports at the end, I think, of next week. Because there's just so many holes that need to be filled. And I don't see the market all of a sudden happening all in a couple of days. And then the Padres go add guys, the next day after that. Like, it's still going to take time. And it's February 5th.